and I'll be honest, I won't put the on fire. Hey, I'm surprised they don't class them in pellets, because it's really slow, this is. Hey,
I've had some back. Caught one small fish.
hey, get that camera on. Who are you? Who are you?
So what do you think of that Fjuka bait?
That Fjuka bait's one of the finest baits I've ever fished with. Hey, I normally get one a chuck on it, and here's one right now. If you like to watch me catch this one.
You're going to lose it.
Hey, I hope to God this doesn't come off while we're filming, or so I'll have to swear again. This is coming up, this is going nowhere. This comes out, we'll have to all go down 2 foot. Butler, you're going down. Can't wait for this to go around platform or out and through all reeds. Oh, look at this is a crocodile. Quality, cream always comes to the top, Tom. I'm taking it a walk through woods.
Hello and welcome to the 3rd Fjuka Road Show. This week we're at the lovely Little John Lakes in Ollerton in Nottinghamshire. A venue I personally have fished a number of times in the past, and now it's full to the brim with big carp and a real mixed array of other species. But to be honest, it's not the fishing that Little John sticks in the forefront of my mind for, it's the characters that come here. There's some great lads, and none more so than the owner of the venue, Steve Beard. Although it's a great pleasure fishing water, the thing with Little John that appeals to many anglers is the matches that they have on the venue. And it was no surprise to me that when I asked Steve to put together a few anglers to have a little test of the Fjuka bait here on the water, they arranged a little knock-up between them. So behind us we've got 8 anglers fishing a little match.
These pellets that I'm fishing with are quite a heavy, dense pellet, and they sink quick. So there's no need for a finesse rig, to be fair, and we're fishing for mostly carp. So I'm fishing 017 straight through to an 015 bottom. I've got a strung out bulk, which I quite often fish for pellet fishing, and a 4x16 float. One single bat shot because there's a little bit of tow. It's not exactly shallow where I'm fishing. I'm cupping in 3 or 4 pellets and throwing 3 or 4. I found if you try and throw more, you're getting fish up in the water and you're getting a lot more false indications. So I'm 3 or 4 in with the pot and then flicking 3 or 4 out. You tend to get 2 or 3 and then you've got to move. So I've got currently 3 lines here, one there and one down the side. The one down the side's quite easy to fish because it's shallow, and when the fish come in there you can actually see them. They're not coming in numbers, they're coming in 1s and 2s. You tend to get one, look for another bite, if not come off it and then go on your main line. I'm using these yellow pellets at the moment. They seem to be working best for me, the yellow pellets. I've tried the white ones, I've tried the red ones, but I think because they're new in this pond, they're not working as well. The white ones will probably work fantastic in the winter, especially when you squeeze them and fish them like a disc of bread when the water's clear and you fish them across the sedges. But generally anything of any colour that's fed on this line has been corn, hence why I'm fishing a yellow pellet. Well, obviously, not having used it before, I fed gingerly to start with, and I'd kind of made my mind up out of the 3 colours that I'd fish yellow because we catch well on here on corn. So I fished the yellow pellet. Started off at top 2 and 1, pretty much stayed there most of the day, and I found that if you threw too many, you got fish up in the water, and it's quite a heavy and a dense pellet, not actually one you want to be fishing through the water or actually shallow. So what I ended up doing was cupping 3 or 4 pellets in, but only throwing 3 or 4 to try and attract fish into the area. And the cupping idea was they would go straight to the bottom, and by swinging the rig out, I fished a strung out bulk, no droppers, a good 18-inch to my hook bait, If any fish did intercept it on the way through, I'd catch them. If not, it sat on the bottom of the shelf and I just inched it up the shelf, and that's how I caught. 3 or 4 pellets, 3 in the toss pot. When it went quiet, alternated with the hook bait, tried the white ones and the red ones, and then you get a run of fish on them, but I found the yellow ones for me on that peg were the best bait to use. And I also threw a few down the side, just off the shelf on the sedge, and just past the reed bed, and we caught there. But when the fish came in that shallow water, I put 2 on the hook, because the one was coming off the bottom and the float was dancing, so I put 2 on the hook. I just pushed them straight up, threaded them on, and fished 2 close to the bank, and that was it really. A steady run of fish, but it's not been the best of conditions. It's been red hot and really bright, and not much of a breeze, although it's picked up now. In fact, I've managed to grab a bag, because I use mine during fishing. I'll definitely have a bag in my kit, because you literally can open the bag and use it straight from my bag. No worries, no messing around. You haven't got to pump anything, you haven't got to wet anything. You literally open the bag, tip them in your bait tub, and you immediately catch fish. So I think they'll be absolutely perfect for feeder work. You can, I wouldn't say they go on a band, but a bait spike, perfect for a bait spike, and perfect for a hair rig. Nice bright colours as well, which is perfect what you want in the winter. So I'll definitely have a bag of each of the colours of the pellets in my bait bag.
I'm Danny Crewe. Started fishing when I was probably 6 or 7, going with my dad. Started match fishing at probably the age of 12 in clubs and all that. And then moved on to open match fishing, and I go as much as I can do with work and all that. And I mainly just come here, Little John Lakes. I'm just fishing these pellets on the deck and shallow, just 2+1, just throwing them in. They've been coming up in the water, I slap over it, and I've had 1 or 2, but they haven't settled properly, so I've just got to keep alternating between lines. I've had a bit of a play about with it, making some shapes and all that, but I've had my most success just hooking it straight through, just like a normal pellet. I've just been getting the red flavour, well, the red colour has probably been the best for me. I'm just hooking it straight through the barrel, just shimming it around the shank, the bend of the hook, just like that. And then the key has been just lifting and dropping, and I've had a few literally just on the drop. So I've just been swinging it out, just been loose feeding a few. Just waiting for it to go, basically. Yeah, I think it's just far luck, to be fair. I've had a problem with far lookers, but when I come off the deck, I don't seem to get one. Like I say, it's been a very iffy day. They don't seem to be settling on at one depth. It's in gob, actually. It's in mouth. I think the biggest weight on this lake is just over 200, I think. And on the complex, it's 199, I think it is. 299 was in a Birdie Mania festival. Got 2 skimmers out there. In terms of young people coming into angling, I think there isn't that many young, especially around this area, that many young anglers out there match fishing. But with all the great, there's a lot of like talent pathways and stuff like that being run now, and hopefully they'll start being younger anglers come in. And with everything that's happened lately with the corona and everything, hopefully that dads that haven't been fishing for some time will introduce the kids to it, and hopefully that'll be the start of a young generation again. I basically started on 2+1, loose feeding and just alternating the colours. Got a few like that, and then I found they came up, so I've started slapping on that line, had a couple, but it's been hot and still for most of the day, so I've had to like feed a line there, probably catch a couple there and then slap over the top, and bits and bobs. You couldn't string 2 fish together on one line, so I've had a few fish all over, to be fair, a couple to the island, but they were just swimming around and gobbing. They weren't really interested in feeding. It will definitely catch fish, especially the ones in the test tubes. I'll definitely be keeping them in my bait bag, because especially in winter when you want that visible single hook bait, or if we're fishing bomb and pellet, I think they'll be very, very good. So I will definitely be using them again.
Oh, they do like it, Steve.
He's knocked my duck off. Well, like I say, I used to fish in club matches, several different clubs, and I think I want the same ambition as everybody else. Wanted to own their own fishery eventually. My father used to own a farm thing, and once they sold the land off, we hunted around for some land to get the right place to establish a fishery. So from them, over the years, I've dug 3 lakes out. It's been rather a good success now, because I've got people from Sheffield first established coming with word of mouth. I didn't have to advertise, and now I'm booked 2 years in advance with a fishery. Everybody gets great catches. The top weight of Robin Hood is 517 pound, and we've got 360s and 350s on this lake as well.
To begin with, I started trying to manipulate the pellets into a paste form, then feeding the hook and feeds and sending the bait down like with a bigger ball of paste, but that just didn't work. So then I made a change, started to feed a few by hand down the margin, and then what I've done, I put an air rig on because I felt like the hookers was slightly too hard. So I've got the ones in the test tube that they're a little bit bigger and softer, and I put 3 of them on a hair rig, just pulled them up the shelf and just waited for a positive bite really, and I've done that both sides. At times I've fed it with a pot. All in all, through the course of the match, I probably fed 4 bags of the hook and feed. We stipulated before today that we weren't going to feed any micro pellets, that were all going to be all the Fjuka bait, and that's what we did. But like I say, I find at times it were better to throw it and get some numbers of fish there, but then started to pot it in just to centralise my bait a little bit.
Margin fishing has to be one of the most exhilarating ways of catching fish on commercials. And there's a few tips I can give you just to help you be ultra efficient when it comes to this kind of fishing. It's very easy, although it can be probably the best way to put a big weight of fish together. It can also be very easy to have an absolute nightmare, foul hook a lot of fish and lose them. Fortunately, Fjuka bait in itself is quite good. It lends itself very much to this style of fishing because it is quite a heavy bait. It does sink quite well, it does stay put on the bottom, and that's a really important characteristic when it comes to edge fishing. It's why traditional baits like sweet corn or big pellets or even heavy hook baits like worms are so good when it comes to catching fish down the edge, because the bait stays pinned to the bottom. And basically the rig that I tend to use and how I set it up really reflects what I'm trying to do with that, to keep the bait down on the bottom. So what we've got here is, first of all, I'll start at the hook end. I normally do it the other way around, but for margin fishing it's actually this end of the rig that's most important. So a nice big robust hook, got a size 14 CREWE'S LWG on there, tied to 015 line, and above that we've just got a simple bulk of number 8 shot, and the idea behind that is to pin the bait down to the bottom and keep it there until one intercepts it and we get a nice positive bite. Moving up the rig, some nice positive 017 reflow power main line. Again, nothing too light and delicate. This is powerful, robust fishing, so we need something that can get the fish in when we hook them. And onto the float. Quite a heavy float, considering we're only fishing in maybe 3 foot of water there. It's a 0.4 gram Mick Wilkinson margin. Now these are a lovely pattern. Diamond body, carbon stem, and a thick hollow plastic bristle, which allows you to really detect
the liners, which are often little movements on the float from the positive bites, which I like to call gazunders, when that float shoots under and you hook a fish. Above that we've got quite a short length of line, about I suppose 8 inches between the elastic and the float tip, and the idea behind that is just keeping that rig presented dead under where we fed our bait. We want everything to be nice and accurate, so we're presenting a nice accurate pile of bait down the edge, and when it goes under we're hooking a fish. It's never drifted too far away from where we're fishing. Elastic wise, we've got Daiwa's black hydro elastic, just to a small connector on the end there, and that's obviously through a puller kit, so we can basically use that if we hook any good fish, just to get control. On the subject of elastic, nothing too positive really. You know, I've seen some anglers use massive elastic, really heavy 20 plus elastics down the edge. To be honest, there's no real need. You can land fish as quick on a black or a grey hydro as you can on anything bigger than that. So that's the edge fishing setup. In terms of plumbing up, I like to fish, as I said, in around about, well, 2 to 3 foot of water is ideal when it's bright like this. As it goes later in the day, if it was, you know, if it was the height of summer as well and the fish were really competing well, I'd go in even shallower water, into maybe, you know, as little as 12 inches of water. But as important as the depth of water is the actual characteristics of the bottom you're fishing on. And here at Little John you've got quite a jagged slope going down and then a little plateau where it just flattens off for a couple of feet before it drops off into the main body of the lake. And it's on that little flat plateau in about 3 feet of water where it's best to present the bait. So a few pointers there as to how I approach margin fishing. Keep it simple, robust tackle, a bulk down rig. I normally fish about 1 inch to 2 inches of line on the bottom. A nice positive float bristle with some bristle showing so you can read your bites from your liners, and fish on a nice flat bottom in a depth of water where you think the fish will feed confidently, but most importantly where it's nice and level so you can achieve good bait presentation, and when fish come in your peg they can pick your bait up nice and cleanly.